Yo, 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 yo. Welcome in. I am super hyped to be with you for episode 2 of Saliggy and the Doc. I am the Doc, Dr. Christian Friend. Saliggy, what's good,
What
son?
what up though? What up though? Saliggy in the house, easy like Sunday morning.
Right. So what you rocking? I see you sport this white shirt. What you saying
So
about what does that even mean, Saliggy? What does never go Eric Benet even mean?
so here we go. So remember Jigga's last album 444?
Yes, sir.
The first track, Kill Jay-Z, talks
Uh-huh.
about talks about how the evolution of his relationship with Beyonce from courting to marriage and whatever else is going on in between.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He was like, he didn't want to give the hottest chick in the game wearing his chain and fail like this Negro right here. AKA Mr. Moccasins, singing and teary-eyed with cowrie shells and shit. Never go Eric Benet. I love that. I've always loved that reference.
That's beautiful. So don't mess up a good thing. Public
Don't
service
mess up.
announcement to the
Yeah.
brothers in healthy, functional, committed relationships with people that love you.
Yeah, don't fuck it up.
Don't mess that up. Yeah,
don't mess it up. Don't fuck it up.
That's good. I'm
Yeah.
rocking my sci-fi stuff as usual. Shout out to the Mandalorian,
No doubt.
Grogu, also known as Baby Yoda.
This is the way.
Yes, sir. It is. So we got to do a Mandalorian episode at some point. So the we're in March of 2021, a whole year of COVID, but we're not going to dwell on that because I think we're both a little bit joyful because we've got March Madness going on. I know I am. I know it's a nice distraction to be able to turn on the TV and there's always basketball. So I know the answer for me, but I'm curious for you how your bracket's looking, Saliggy.
Well, let me tell you, man. Them first,
You sound like you're mourning.
I'm saying, man, like Ohio State. I watched that entire game, Ohio State versus Oral Roberts, right?
Right.
And the saddest shit was Oral Roberts had two dudes running two-man game the entire game. So the thought is you stop one of them and then you run your offense, right? These dudes, what's the young dude's name? Max Asmus, which I thought was a funny pronunciation since his name is spelled A-B-M-A-S, but Max Asmus, he leads the country in scoring. He had 29, and then his running mate, Kevin O'Banner, had 30. The entire team scored 75. So literally, they scored about 80% of their points. So you had to stop one of those two, right? And they couldn't do it. And then on top of that, the dude, Dwayne Washington, around here, when a dude starts jacking up shit, just profusely and wrongly, we call him a heist box. Dwayne Washington was a heist box. I mean, he even shot what they called an overtime wedgie during the game, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, that is hilarious.
Backward, I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, he missed free throws. I mean, he missed open shots.
Two clutch threes down the stretch, wide open looks.
Yeah, it was a bad look. It was a
very bad look for him. But it's a bad look for Ohio State. Like, I saw the game too. I was interested in that one, obviously. I got one bracket where they're in the Final Four for sure. And it was like
they're in the final.
Right. And it's like I just expected more from them. The defense is one thing. You give up a lot of points. Sometimes great scorers are great scorers, and you can only hope to contain them. But they could not score the ball. Like, that's what drove me crazy. It's like they just could not find an option. They couldn't run pick and roll. They couldn't run motion. They just could not execute on offense. And that was crazy to me.
No, but E.J. Liddell, hilariously, he played well with a bad back, but then he's the one.
He played solid.
And he received death threats. I was like, if you're going to send death threats to anybody, send it to the right person.
Another public service announcement from Saliggy and the Doc. If you're going to send death threats, send them to the right person.
If you're going to cyberbully the right person. Don't go to the wrong one. It's crazy.
If you're going to be a troll the proper people.
it's
What else?
so. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
I just asking what else popped up. What else
Oh,
popped out at you for the tournament? Yeah.
so then we got number 2 Ohio State gone. We
Right.
got 2 number 4s gone. So we got Purdue. They're out.
Yeah.
Hell, I can't even. Oh, they lost to North Texas. I didn't even watch that game.
Right. I saw it.
They
I saw
struggled.
it down the stretch, and the same deal. Like they could not. Now North Texas was not scoring, at any kind of massive rate. They did not have two guys with 29 and 30 respectively. They just
Mhm.
executed better down the stretch, and Purdue struggled to find points. That's what I saw.
Yeah. So then also Virginia. So yesterday, UVA, and the thing about UVA, they've been through a lot, with being ousted from the ACC tournament, which we'll get to a little bit later. They got ousted from the ACC tournament, and they've been going through a lot of stuff with the travel, and then when they arrived in Indianapolis, so they don't have a lot of the whole thing. So you don't have that continuity. You run the same pack line defense, but it's different personnel. You don't have a Diakite. You don't have Ty Jerome and Kyle Guy and my man that got drafted by the Hawks. Can't remember his name. It escapes me right now. But you don't have the same personnel. So that losing to Ohio didn't really shock me. But I went to bed last night. The last game that was played last night was Texas versus Abilene Christian, right? And I saw it was back and forth, but I figured that Shaka Smart's guys would get it together.
Right.
I wake up this morning and I see they lost on a free throw. Like, what the hell? Like,
right.
Texas is gone.
Texas is gone, man. And I had them at least in the Elite Eight in my, first bracket and a little deeper in some others. Like, I really thought that they had the talent to carry it forward. It's a crazy thing. It's a crazy time of year generally. And then you add in COVID and you think about UVA and the impact of COVID and them arriving late to the bubble in Indianapolis had on them. And it just, it makes it so unpredictable. There were some places where I did pretty good. Like I picked the Rutgers upset at Clemson. Mm-hmm. I picked the Maryland upset at UConn.
I did not.
There were a couple other places where I kind of figured it out, I think. I thought Georgia Tech might beat Loyola of Chicago. I slept on the Chicago guys here at Loyola. Probably because I done drove past the campus and I was like, it's no way. It's no way they beat Georgia Tech. But, I was clearly wrong. Respect to Loyola University. I don't know who picked Purdue or Ohio State because it wasn't until the Virginia loss that ESPN announced that there were no more perfect brackets in ESPN. So that means somebody picked the North Texas win and they picked the Ohio State loss. So.
Yeah, I think they must have been Oral Roberts and Abilene Christian and North Texas alums because nobody in their right mind had them advancing. Yeah, we brought up the point about Loyola. Chicago. So I had on a lot of my sheets, I had like 10 sheets. I had either one of them going because it was 8-9 games. I had Tech, Loyola, right? But then when I heard that Moses Wright, the ACC Player of the Year, was under protocol for COVID and wasn't going to play,
I did not hear that.
I switched everything to Loyola.
I did not hear that. I had no idea until I turned on the game, and I was like, where is he?
You gotta have your phone pop, man.
Yeah, I'm not on it. Like I do a point in time assessments, and then I make picks, and then I just go watch games. You got to be in real time with this, particularly for a COVID year.
Should be moving.
So at this point, like with who's left and who do you think the national championship is? If you got to put it on record, like who's the national champion and maybe who's in the finals or the Final Four?
Well, I mean, after all the muck that happened Friday and Saturday, I think the favorites to get to the Final Four will be Gonzaga. I think Michigan has a much easier road now that Texas is gone. And on the other side, I didn't want to pick Baylor, but I'm guessing Baylor's got to go now.
Right.
because I don't think Purdue was going to. I mean, I thought Purdue was going to offer some semblance of resistance.
Ohio
But
State gone, Purdue gone. That
yeah,
leaves Arkansas in their bracket.
so Arkansas is the last squad to really provide a real challenge. But with this thing, you never know. But Baylor would be the favorite over there in that bracket, and that portion of the bracket. And then lastly, I guess it all depends on what happens between the Battle of Chicago with Loyola and Illinois playing later on today. So
That's true.
yeah, we'll see if Illinois gets past this. I don't really know or see anybody. Who's the two in this?
Houston. That's what I was about to say.
Okay.
Like I was just about to say, like, I don't know nothing about Houston. I did not watch. I didn't see them play at all this year. I didn't see their conference tournament, but they're a number 2 seed in that bracket. It looks like they handled Cleveland State pretty well, So Houston Rutgers will give us some sense of, if Houston's a real contender.
So Kelvin Sampson is coaching them. So he has gritty ballers, man. So I can see them providing a challenge to Illinois. But if Illinois can get to like this next weekend and get to Houston and get past them, I think they can make it to the Final Four. So then the Final Four will be all chalk ones, right? So I'm thinking that Gonzaga probably win the whole thing. I think they're the best team in this tournament just based on size, ball handling.
They got everything.
And if they don't do it this year, I don't know when they'll ever be able to do it again because Jalen Suggs ain't coming back.
And I don't know what happens with Mark Few because it's like at this point, like this is his year, right? Like this is Gonzaga's year. So it's, we'll see. I'm actually rooting for them. I want them to win one. I like, in some ways, they dominate their conference, but in a lot of ways, because they're in a smaller conference, and because they're Pacific Northwest, they're an underdog, and I like rooting for the underdog. So go Zags.
Go Zags.
I guess. Well, Georgetown's out, so you got to pick someone to root for.
So look,
you thought I wasn't going to say nothing. I wasn't going to say that.
The reason why we're doing this today is because yesterday Georgetown was the early game at noon, right? So I was like, hey, man, let's push this back a day. Let me check my bad
for schedule.
That had the great run last week in the Big East tournament and just looked as if they were inching to getting back to like 1985, Big John Thompson, Pat Ewing, Bill Martin defense, right? So I was like, okay, they scored 73 and they held Creighton to 48. Creighton that almost lost yesterday, by the way, but
Right. I thought,
Yeah, so then they get Colorado and they gave up 96 points, man. Like
Colorado went in on them, right?
They went in.
It wasn't like a contest either. Right. It wasn't like it was close for a little while and then they pulled away. Like they outplayed them from start to finish. It was just
they ran pick and roll from 3.
Right.
Samaki Walker's son. Fucking Samaki Walker's son?
Hey, the second generation's better than the first sometimes. So
he ain't even that good though. Like that's the thing. They were saying that
that's true.
He only hit like a couple of threes here and there during their tournament during the season. He had 4 open threes.
That's why it's March Madness, man. Yeah, you never know what's gonna happen.